My dad, I have, a whole story, as I said, I'll share with my dad because it's very recent. And I just saw him recently. And he said the same thing too, because he loved my mom. He loved her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he always wished that he was in the Navy when they met, and he was just sailing, and he was just kind of like young and irresponsible.
Mm-hmm.
And he's dealing with that now as a 84-year-old man at the end of his life,
Mm-hmm.
which is part of the story I'll share with you. He's really dealing with that. And I'm doing my best to have him surrender to the mindset that there should be nothing that he takes in the form of guilt or shame with him. Because I believe in God. I believe there's a divine intelligence that governs all of life. And that even in his actions that would appear to be very selfish because he was not there for his child, it was exactly what I needed. And they say God works in mysterious ways. And that's one of the mysterious ways. Was for some reason, it just fueled him to hang on to selfishness, that we can now have these conversations at my age now and his age now, of where I'm helping bring my dad back full circle to realize, like, because he's shared several times, like, I just wish I would have been there for you.
Yeah.
I say, I get it. And that's always the highest choice, Dad, but it wasn't made. And so let's find out, what the gift is in that. I've already found it in my life. I wouldn't have wanted, if I could go back and do it all over again, I would not want to change anything.
Mm-hmm.
I would not want my dad there for me. And I told him that. I'll share this quick story with you. So it was his 60th birthday, so 24 years ago. I was really engaged in really starting to do my inner work.
Mm-hmm.
And it was his 60th birthday, and he said, I'd love to see you. And I said, okay. And I got on an airplane, I flew to Oregon. And I was really nervous, actually, because I thought I'd never had a deep conversation with my dad, but I know that I don't want to give him a physical gift. I want to have that first initial really deep drop in, men to men. It's just always been like, hey, buddy, good to see you.
Yep.
But I was like, I don't know how to go there, because I don't really know him in this way. And so I finally we end up on a little bench at a local fairground. My dad's got a great sense of humor. So we're on a bench, and we have these, big gulp size cups with Budweiser, right? So we're feeling good. And we're sitting there on a bench, and he's cracking jokes about everyone walking by and just making me laugh. And I just realizing, like, oh, wow, that's where I got my sense of humor. He's, my dad's really funny. And then I started thinking, this is probably a good time. I should do it right now. And he's over there, entertaining me, but I'm in my head going, what do I say? I don't know, but there's something I need to say. And finally I go, hey, Dad. And he goes, yeah, what? And I said, I want to thank you. He goes, for what? And I said, well, I want to thank you for, it just came out. I go, for being perfect. And he looks over at me, and he's got one eyebrow goes up really high, and he goes, kid, I've been called a lot of things in my life. Perfect is not one of them.
Wow.
And I said, just hear me out, Dad. I said, you were in the Navy, right? He said, yeah. I said, if you were on the ship and the rudder of your ship was off by a human hair, what would happen? He goes, well, it would take us to the wrong damn continent. And I said, yeah. I said, if you were in my life one human hair more than you have been, it would have taken me to a different continent. And Dad, just recently, I've really awakened to understand how perfect my life is unfolded, and I wouldn't want to be on any other continent than where I am right now. We have no history, no baggage between us. Like, we can sit here on the bench and I can just listen to you as I'm just a friend. And I said, how perfect we get to know each other as men now, where, I don't have to forgive you for anything. There's nothing to forgive you for, Dad. I said, it's just really like I want you to understand that. Like, what you did was exactly what I needed to become the man that I'm becoming. And my dad takes a moment, he looks at me very seriously, and he goes, "You've always been weird."
Perfect.
And I knew, I got
Perfect
it. I go,
response.
okay, that is, the translation is, thank you, I love you.
That's right.
You know, and from that moment on, we've had an incredible relationship.
Dude, that's great.
That just went to the deepest levels ever. I don't know if you want to hear that story now, but
Hell yes, I do. But just before you share that, I want to offer a reflection that your perfect thought, man, I feel it in my energy. I was leaning in. I was loving that story. And why do I love that story so much? I think I crave another human telling me the same thing. And I think that, like, I can only speak from my own experience, but I would imagine that for most humans, when somebody looks at you and says, all of you, all of the decisions that you've made in this life, right? I appreciate them because they have been, and I tell my kids all the time, the most important thing I want you to know is that I want you to do the best you can with what you have in any given moment. And whenever I feel that statement, whenever I accept that to be true in any other human, I find peace. I find love, I find compassion, I find empathy, I find all the things I'm searching for every human is doing the best they can with what they have, based on the feedback they receive, based on their nature, their biology, the chemistry of all things mixed together in one moment. That is what you got. And when everything is for you, when everything is divine, that to me is living in alignment and what I would consider to be harmony. So like, I want that so desperately from the people that I'm around. Like, I can't think of a higher compliment from my son to me at one point to say, thank you. Like, it was all perfect. I'm like, thank you.
Thanks for listening today, fellas. If you got value from this episode, I ask that you take 1 second right now and you share this with another dad in your life that you respect, that you know is committed to becoming a better man, family man, and businessman. And on that note, I want to honor you for choosing growth. Your family will thank you years from now for all the effort that you're putting in to learn the strategy so you can show up more fully for them today. Take care.